Good evening. I'd like to start by acknowledging a few people from New York State Shields, President Daniel Kaplan, and from the Executive Director, Reverend William G. Kalajian, and from the Village of Irvington, Mayor Brian Smith, and members of the dais. I'd also like to acknowledge tonight's honorees and award winners. As a supervisor, I know who does the heavy lifting. I'd like to thank the New York Shields for bestowing this honor on me, as well as the members of the Irvington Police Department for nominating me. I am truly honored and humbled. Andy Warhol once said, "Everyone will be famous for 15 minutes. Well, it looks like this is going to be mine. I hope that I won't be too boring or too boorish or torturous. I look forward to these few minutes and know that this special time will result in a lifetime of fond and lasting memories. I'd like to take a couple of minutes and thank some of the many people who have made this, this possible. Unfortunately, the list is long, so I'll keep it short with my apologies to anyone I might miss. I want to thank my parents. As you know, without them, I wouldn't be here. I want to thank, throughout my life, I've been blessed with loving family members, supportive friends, and wise mentors. Some are here tonight, some have passed on. But all helped shape and prepare me for the position I currently hold. We all need a helping hand to achieve life's goals through the good, the bad, and the ugly. And with their support, I've been able to achieve many of my goals. To all, a heartfelt thank you. I'm dating myself now, but back in the 70s, the rock and roll group Three Dog Night wrote a song entitled "One is the Loneliest Number." I was promoted chief in 2007. Well, at my first chief's meeting, there were many congratulations and words of advice. Two things stood out most and gave me a lot to think about. One fellow chief said, "It's only at the top." Well, another chief said, "Be careful what you ask for, you may just get it." A little confused, I thought to myself, what did I get myself into? Well, after 4 years as chief, I can honestly say I don't believe, just as I just said, to be true. There are 24 members of the Irvington Police Department, 21 officers and 3 civilians. Working in a small department, you become a jack of all trades. Like Mike said, one minute I could be working on payroll, screwing it up, or dealing with scheduling, and the next minute I'll be dispatching at the desk or directing traffic. As cops, we all know the job regardless of rank, and I will be accepting this award. I accept it on behalf of the members of the Irvington Police Department. From the lieutenant to the crossing guards, my secretary Ida, we work as a team. Having them around me leaves me no time to feel lonely. I might even say they keep me young. Let me tell you something else. I have no problem telling them what's on my mind, and believe me, they have no problem telling me when I'm wrong. They make it interesting, fun, and I'm where I want to be. I wouldn't have it any other way. Nathan Iannone, the author of Supervision of Police Personnel, defines discipline as both positive and negative, which is fairly basic in its meaning. He also writes that discipline flows upward and downward. Downward discipline, that is not much of a problem. You know what I mean. But upward discipline, that gives a new meaning to the word indigestion. Let me give you a couple of examples of what I mean. Back in January of 2010, a large sanitation truck struck an overhead pedestrian bridge that connected the Hudson House, a high-rise apartment building, to the Hudson Metro North train station. The end result was that heavy equipment had to be called in, remove the truck, which caused the bridge to come crashing down. Several summonses was issued and a ton of photographs were taken. After reviewing the photographs with my lieutenant, Mike Morano, I noticed one photograph in particular. It showed the road closed, the bridge completely demolished, with debris scattered everywhere. In the photo was a sheet of paper with the word chaos scrolled on it. I turned to Lieutenant Morano and I commented, that really was chaotic, and it turned into a mess for everyone involved. He looked at me, deadpan face, said, "No, it means Chief has arrived on scene." I nodded and said, "I see. There's a comedian out there somewhere, I just haven't figured out who it is." Just recently, I was reading an article pinned to the PBA bulletin board. The title was 10 Things a Boss Should Never Say to Employees. Some examples were, if you don't want this job, I'll find someone who does. Who gave you permission to do that? And these times, you're lucky to have a job at all. And here's my favorite, I know you didn't get tired here. These are just a few. As I finished reading the article, I shook my head and thought, I've never said anything like this. I think I better move on. I made a photocopy of the article and put it on Lieutenant Morano's desk, realizing that it was probably meant for him anyway. Seriously, communication between me and the members of my department is of the greatest importance. We all rely on each other to get the job done, and an open line of communications is at the core. These are truly exceptional people, personally, professionally, as individuals, as a group. This is a unique group of people, each with their own talents, that have banded together to make it work, not only for each other, but for the residents of Irvington. The real benefactors of their efforts. They are the heart and soul of the Irvington Police Department. I owe them a big thank you. I am proud to call them friends. The finest on the Hudson, please stand and be acknowledged. Gentlemen. In my final few minutes, I would like to have Detective Luigi Osso step up. Luke. By Sergeant Foley. Lou was the 2010 recipient of the New York State Shield's Distinguished Service Cross. He received this well-deserved honor after sustaining nearly fatal injuries as a result of being in a felony in progress incident in April 2010. The incident involved a stolen vehicle out of the state of Connecticut, which was being operated by a 16-year-old male. The vehicle struck Detective Osso's patrol vehicle while it was en route to assist an adjoining police agency that was attempting to intercept and stop the operator and vehicle. This time the stolen vehicle was being operated at speeds upward of 70 miles per hour. Detective Osso never had a chance, and the collision nearly cost Lou his life. He sustained numerous injuries, which have resulted in over 17 surgeries and procedures. Lou's recovery is progressing, and I'm happy to say he's on track. On November 8, 2011, Lou was awarded the Certificate of Exceptional Valor by the Governor of New York. I had the honor of telling Lou that he is one of 13 recipients, that he would be receiving this prestigious award. Now I'd like to officially present it to him, the letter and the award certificate, which I recently received from Acting Commissioner Sean Ann Byrne of the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services. The Certificate of Exceptional Valor presented to Officer Luigi Osso states, Village of Irvington Police Officer, I'm being nominated Police Officer of the Year and honored for the remarkable courage you have exemplified in the line of duty as an outstanding member of this state's distinguished law enforcement community. You uphold the highest standards of public commitment, integrity, responsible service, and professionalism. In nobly safeguarding the people of this state with steadfast devotion and exemplary dedication to your work, you have demonstrated tremendous valor and pride in service that's inspiring to all New Yorkers. With sincerest gratitude and best wishes for every future success, and it's signed, Andrew M. Como, Governor. I would now like to have Lou's wife, Maria, step up. Maria, you're not going to get away with it. Come on, come on. You didn't even get away scot-free now, did you? Oh, she's not happy, I can tell. I am happy to announce that Maria and Lou will be having their first child in April of 2012. I will say, God answers prayers and does perform miracles. I know mine have been answered. I couldn't be happier for them. I want to wish to both of them and their child good health and all the happiness life can bring and offer. Finally, sportscaster Warner Wolf ends his broadcast by saying, my time is over. I'd like to thank you all for your time. I'd like to thank all of you for allowing me to share these 15 special minutes with you. This award and these memories will stay with me a lifetime. Thank you.
Okay, two more presentations to go. We'd like to call back up Captain Jack Walsh.
Back again. Great honor, unexpected tonight to present an award, but this is really, really special. I left the job. I spent a lot of years in classrooms trying to learn about things I didn't do. The big thing that I teach today is about leadership. And I tell guys, when I teach police officers and want to be police, I say, are you a police officer or are you a cop? Are you a supervisor or are you a boss? Big difference. And I teach NYPD officers every day, and they tell me about all kinds of sad stories. And they say, Cap, you were very lucky. You were there in the good old days. And I say, when were those? Not sure I knew when those were. We didn't have great bosses ever. And part of the rules were that when you found a great boss, you protected him, protected her. Made them make sure they didn't fail. You hang on to people you believe in. I have the great esteem tonight to do a prelogue to a guy I think the world. You heard him up here early. He was our first presenter, Inspector Madry, commanding officer of the 7-5 precinct. For those of you up here in the northern parts of the world, 7-5 is that big place on the border of Queens that, since inception, has been a testing ground for heroes. It has always been, will always be. I have nothing but utmost respect for 7-5 cops. Mr. Van Lake came up here talking about homicides. I study these for my living. Under 500, in 1990, the 7-5 precinct had 140 in one precinct. Think about that. It's like 1/3 of what we're going to have this year was in one precinct. What kind of place it is. Inspector Madry is what's right with the job. He's not just a great boss that he is. He's a great cop, he's a great boss, but most importantly, he's a great man. And that's the most important thing you can do. I see the way he leads from the front. He protects, defends, promotes his officers. He really is about, he's made of the right stuff. He's really our kind of guy. Some people, I was up in street crime all over the city. Every precinct thinks they're the toughest precinct in the world. They all are tough, no question about it. But I'll throw this out as evidence. We honor Dick Savage tonight, 2 Medals of Valor, Deputy Inspector, not afraid to do God's work out there. Here's my evidence. Last year, the New York, New Jersey Crime Clinic honored Inspector Madry, full inspector, gun battle in the 7-5. Now that's a boss. I'm just hoping that, Inspector, for me, and I'll speak to all those who know you, we're just praying to God every day that you just keep rising, boss. We need guys like you way at the top. So God bless you. I'd like to have Captain Locke come up and Sergeant, we're going to have Alex come on up. Going to ask you, Inspector, would you come forward, sir? I think Brooklyn's in the house. Let's hear it for Inspector Manor.
I'm very honored and privileged to be here. I'm very humbled. On my way to this occasion, I was actually talking to my driver, and I'm just telling him how fortunate and blessing, how blessed and fortunate I am One, to be working at 7-5 with such dynamic men and women, some of the most dynamic people I've met in my life. My counterpart, Captain Henderson, one of the best captains in the NYPD, but more importantly, to be able to work under Inspector Madry. It's definitely a privilege and an honor, and I'm just reiterating what's already been said. Not only a great leader, I learned a lot about leadership. He's actually answered for me. I always tell people that I have my all-time bosses. One of them, you might remember, Chief Lou Adamone, when I was a rookie officer. He was my first CO. I remember Chief David Scott. He was the first chief I worked with when I was a cop in the 3-2. And Inspector Madry has entered that for me, one of my all-time bosses. And I'm honored and privileged to be able to speak on his behalf of the 75th Precinct, and more importantly, the community in which he serves. So, God bless you.
Captain Jack, as I affectionately call her, you make it as difficult for me. You have me back there well enough. And I just want to say a couple of thank yous. Of course, God, who's the head of my life, I want to always my personal leader. My wife, who's not here tonight, but she's definitely my partner. Just the best friend a person can have. And I want to thank these two guys right here, Captain Eddie Lott and Captain Scott Henderson. You know, Eddie said work under me. He doesn't work under me. These are my partners right here. A precinct of over 400 people. It's not easy. It's not easy. And I talk to these guys twice a day. They're the best partners and executive to have in this job. This award right here, and I've received quite a few awards, but this award right here is I think it's going to probably be at the top of the list as far as how special and how meaningful it is. Simply because if you look at the sign right behind me, you see what's flipped up top in the quotation marks. Cops for cops, all right? And to be recognized by fellow cops is really, really important, all right? Really important. And then, second of all, you couldn't receive an award like this, Boss of the Year, if you didn't have a tremendous amount of dedicated men and women, truly courageous, truly professional, and just do an incredible job day in and day out in one of the toughest, most challenging neighborhoods in New York City. I wouldn't receive this award if it wasn't for the men and women that are sitting over here today. And I'm going to be real quick. That old, I think it's probably an antiquated mission statement of the police department to protect and serve. I don't think too many police departments in this country use that mission statement. It may be embedded in their mission statement. The mission statements are a lot more intricate and detailed. But that word to serve, all right? And every day when I come to work, I have a leadership triad that I always remember. I serve my bosses, the police department, police commissioner, Chief Nelson. I serve the East New York community. And the third part of that triad is I serve you, all right? As much as y'all, 75th Precinct, work for me, I work for you, okay? As much as y'all are accountable to me, I'm accountable to you, all right? And you guys and gals for the last 3 years made coming to work in such a tough place. It's still a pleasure to come to work every day, to speak with each one of you, to have my opportunities to connect with you, to have my opportunities to talk about your families and other things, to crack the jokes, and then just have a good working environment. That really make coming to work special every day, every single day, and I really mean it. So, This right here is for the 75th precinct. Read about Jeff, man. Leadership, subject I study probably more than anything. It's written on anyone who's walked in my office, you see it right on my wall. Everything rises and falls on leadership. All right, like I said, I just want to thank all my lieutenants, my sergeants here, my union delegates who are also, I tell them all the time, you're leaders in this precinct. Y'all just made coming to the 75 precinct, coming to work every day, just a humbling and a respectable experience. And I get to work with just some of the best of the best. I look at Officer Jason Jackson back there who had a tremendous gun battle in 2009. A tremendous gun battle. I look at Officer Ricky Ramirez in 2010, had a tremendous gun battle. I look at Officer Danny Chiron and Sergeant Lada, who once again in 2011 had a tremendous gun battle. You guys make me work hard. I love service. Thank you. Let's give a round of applause for President Dan Kaplan, the Shields Board. This is great that they take the time to recognize us. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Certainly last but not least, but in the spirit of what Inspector Madrid just said, we look back on the 20 years, the 22 of the Shield's history, 20 years that I've been involved with. Actually, Glenn McCormick is over there now, our past president. He's moving around the room, networking. But I want to thank the guys from Stanford for coming all the way down here. Sergeant Gasparino, I mean, it means a lot to us. Keep the history alive, not only New York State Shield, but around the tri-state area. What I'm getting to is with the history of the Shield, we've given out Purple Hearts. We've met one of our recipients. We met 3 or 4 of our recipients of Distinguished Service Cross tonight. We've had our Boston of the Year. This award that we call the New York Shield Person of the Year, in the 22 years, the 20 that I've been involved in, the 22 years of the Shield, you can count on one hand the amount of times we've given a Person of the Year award. And I say that not to take away from any of the other honorees or the honorees from the past. The reason for that is the New York Shield has never been a political group. You see some other organizations that pull somebody out to try to make donations or do some things like that. Let's make this guy the Person of the Year because, you know, we'll get a donation, we'll get this, that, or the other thing. My point is this. When we pick an honoree, you see the honorees that we pick, and they deserve it. Next gentleman I'm going to call up, the president of the New York City Police Department's Sergeants Benevolent Association. Any of you, whether you're outside of New York City or in Connecticut, you know what's going on in the city right now. The uniform I wear is not a popular uniform right now with the press. Some of the people that have stepped up in the last 6 months and over a year now, since these things have been going on. One man, and I can easily single him out, although I make a transfer to Staten Island next week, for some of the things I said. He's the one guy who got up and said things that no one else was saying. Because if it wasn't for a guy like Ed Mullins, the rest of us cops got to sit back in silence and take abuse in the press. And he gets up and he says something, he goes, what's going on is wrong. That was one of the reasons why we select him. That's only one. You're going to hear about the rest of the reasons. There's a man of respect. And to do the presentation, I'd actually like to call up our president